Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. Welcome to Dr. Boyce TV, the home for intelligent black people. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button, share button, and subscribe button before you go. And also make sure that you join us at blackenough.com, our social media platform for people who are black enough. If you're black enough, join Black Enough, because we will never ban you for being too black. But anyway, what I wanted to talk to you guys about real quick was the Dominican Republic. I've had a lot of people email me about whether or not they think, whether or not I think it's safe to go to the DR. I had a friend message me and said, she said she'd planned this trip to the DR and she was scared to death to go. She couldn't get a refund, and they said it would cost her $500 to switch the trip up to go to Jamaica. And so what I did was, I kind of gave her my 2 cents on it based on what I've seen. Of course, with me being on top of the news and everything, I've seen a lot of things that maybe other people haven't seen. So I thought I would share some of this with you so you can make your decision. Now, I'm going to refer to what CNN is writing here. Even though CNN and other media outlets, they do have their bias. They do have their, you never know what's going on behind the scenes. You never know who's paying who, to say what or whatever. So I don't honestly trust CNN entirely, but I don't think that they're just completely fake news. I think that they, do a decent job of reporting. And so I'll give you some details of what CNN is saying about the Dominican Republic in case you've been thinking about visiting or you have a trip planned there already. First thing they ask is, is it safe? And they ask how many people have died. 9 people right now. 9 people have died in the Dominican Republic. I'll give you their names. Joseph Allen, who's 55 years old. Let's see. It looks like he wasn't feeling well when he was at the hotel pool, and then later on he died. Layla Cox out of New York City died in her hotel room at the Excellence Resorts in Punta Cana on June 10th. The hotel gave the cause of death as a heart attack. She's 53 years old, which isn't really exactly a heart attack age. Her son expressed doubts over the hotel's claims about his mother's cause of death, saying he did not believe she died from quote-unquote natural causes. Then there was the couple, Nathaniel Holmes, 63, and his wife-to-be, soon-to-be wife, Cynthia Day, who was 49. They missed their scheduled checkout time at the Grand Bahia Principe in La Romana. Now, Grand Bahia, it looks like, is really under the microscope just for the deaths that have occurred at that hotel. But, really what it's kind of done, unfortunately, is put the whole tourism industry under, kind of a really dampened spotlight and made a lot of people really nervous. They said when hotel employees checked on them, they were dead. Police said both Holmes and Day had internal bleeding, including in their pancreases. According to the Dominican authorities, Holmes had an enlarged heart and cirrhosis of the liver, both signs of significant pre-existing disease. The Dominican authorities said, and Day had fluid in her brain. Both also had fluid in their lungs. Attorney General Jean Alain Rodriguez Sanchez's office said in a statement. Authorities said they won't provide more details on the cause of death until toxicology results are completed. What I'm looking at really is, what are the Dominican authorities saying about these deaths? How honest. When you do the gut check, do you feel like they're really digging deep and really being willing to say that there's a connection? One of the big concerns I would have is, again, because I'm an expert on money, is, there's a lot of money, at stake. I think that American tourists account for, I think, a third of the tourists that come to the DR every year, and tourism is 17% of the economy. So if you think about a country that might lose 17% or up to 17% of its GDP, they're probably going to push some propaganda if necessary to protect that. Now, that does not mean that they're lying, though. This just means that it's hard to believe somebody is completely telling the truth if the truth does not serve them well. Then there's Miranda Shop Warner of Whitehall Township, Pennsylvania. She checked in to the Bahia Principe Resort in La Romana, the same hotel where Holmes and Day died on May 25th. She excitedly took pictures in the room she shared with her husband, Dan Werner. They were celebrating a wedding anniversary. She had a drink from the minibar and suddenly fell ill. So she had a drink and got sick. Shortly afterwards, she collapsed and died. She suffered a heart attack also, pulmonary edema and respiratory failure, according to a preliminary autopsy cited by the Attorney General's Office of the Dominican Republic. Toxicology results are pending, I'm getting tongue-tied. Toxicology results are pending, and the death remains under investigation. There's John Corcoran, who's the brother of Shark Tank star Barbara Corcoran, which wasn't good for their PR, right? Because she has a big platform. He died at the end of April in his hotel room in the DR. According to a statement from his sister, quote, he passed away from what is believed to be natural causes, the statement said. So I don't know, I don't know if that can be counted in the total or not, but, I guess now that they're adding up all the deaths in the DR, everybody who dies is going to be added in. If this really was natural causes, and this is the official statement from the family, then I'm going to go with that. I'm going to believe that. Honestly, if the DR was saying, oh yeah, it was just natural causes, he's going to die anyway, I would probably want some confirmation on that. Not to say I wouldn't believe them, but I would want more confirmation. Robert Wallace, 67, from Turlock, California. He died after becoming ill at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Punta Cana on April 12th. Let's see, more than 24 members of his family were in the DR for a wedding. Tommy Tickenhoff, his son-in-law, told the station that Wallace became sick after drinking scotch from the minibar. So it seems like there's something going on with the, definitely with the liquor, with the minibar. I've also seen things talking about pesticides coming through the air conditioning. And maybe you guys know more. Maybe you guys, have feet on the ground, people in the DR that because the internet is smarter than the media a lot of times. Even though there's a lot of noise, there are people who have connections and know people who know people. So maybe if you know something or you know somebody who knows something, feel free to share that information. I think people can benefit from that. David Harrison, 45. Brandywine, Maryland. He died at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Punta Cana, according to his wife, Don McCoy. So there's the Hard Rock again. They were celebrating an anniversary. This is so sad. These people were celebrating anniversaries. It's kind of terrible. She said her husband returned from snorkeling one day and said he wasn't feeling well. Early the next morning, she said he was sweating and unable to get up before he died. The cause of death was listed as a heart attack and pulmonary edema. There you go. Again, heart attack, pulmonary edema. Yvette Monique Sport, she died on June 18th in the Bahia Principe in Punta Cana. Punta Cana's coming up a lot. Bahia Principe is coming up a lot. Hard Rock was coming up a lot. Felicia Nieves told CNN she had traveled there with a group of friends, her first vacation in 8 years. Sport, a resident of Pennsylvania, took a shower and went to bed after having drinks. Drinking, again, minibar, maybe poison, who knows. Sport also had a drink from the minibar, she said. Her fiance heard her making a gurgling sound in her sleep. Nieves said the next morning, Nieves said he discovered that she was dead. That's terrible. The family's awaiting the toxicology reports. The U.S. State Department confirmed the death. So here's the first thing. I think that the reason that people are legitimately afraid to go to the DR is largely because they haven't really provided a thorough explanation. I think that if they had a report where they said, a lot of these deaths were due to a poisoning committed by this serial killer. We caught the killer. We've gone through all the alcohol. The alcohol's clean. Everybody's safe. Everything's good. Then that will make sense. I think that what's making people cautious is that they really haven't explained away anything. They haven't really given any full explanation other than, hey, the DR is still a good place to go. It's still safe. No, it ain't safe. It ain't safe. When people can't even drink from the minibar and they're dying at their wedding anniversary or at their brother or sister's, birthday party. I mean, what the hell, man? This is crazy, right? So they're asking, the next question they ask is, are the deaths related anyway? The bottom line, officials in the Dominican Republic or the U.S. have not said the deaths are connected. That right there is an issue. Because anybody doing simple connect the dots analysis is hearing consistent theme words. You're hearing Punta Cana, you're hearing Hard Rock Cafe, you're hearing drinks, you're hearing minibar, you're hearing pulmonary edema, you're hearing heart attack, you're hearing all these words popping up over and over again. And when you try to tell us that these aren't connected, that's when the bullshit alarm starts to go off. That's when people are like, whoa, wait a minute. They sound pretty connected to me. Maybe it's coincidence, right? I'm a statistician, so sometimes things happen by pure coincidence. I ain't going to the DR. I'm going to say that. I'll just be honest. I'm not traveling until I'm sure that it's safe to travel there, right? So no disrespect, but no, I would not go. They said, so CNN says there are a lot of similarities. 3 Americans died at the Bahia Principe Resort in La Romana within days of each other. 2 died at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Punta Cana. The investigations into the deaths have included visits from health inspectors, including environmental health and epidemiology specialists. The U.S. Embassy in Santo Domingo has said it's actively working with Dominican authorities to ensure that American citizens are safe. It said Dominican officials have asked for FBI assistance for further toxicology analysis in the recent Bahia Principe La Romana cases. And that is true. The tourism minister, Javier Garcia, whose words have to be taken with a grain of salt, right, because his job is to make money through tourism. This is not helping him do his job. He says these cases are very regrettable, but isolated. Bullshit. Stop that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. When you say they're regrettable but isolated, and people are seeing the similarities, just wait. I'm hearing these words over and over and over again. People ain't stupid, bro. They're not stupid. Maybe, well, maybe they need to market to stupid people, but smart people, I don't think, intelligent people, I don't think are gonna want to take a chance until you create clarity around what's happening. Here's the thing, though: people die in every country. People die every day in the United States, right? It happens all the time. But if you heard that in Times Square that people were all that several people within a month-long radius or month-long span of time were all getting pulmonary edema. They were all having heart attacks. Many of them were dying after drinking from mini bars, and dying at the same hotels. Then you would probably say, maybe this isn't the time for me to visit Times Square. Y'all clear that up, and then maybe I'll come back next year, right? A Colorado couple who stayed at the Bahia Principe in La Romana last year told CNN they became violently ill after being exposed to what they suspect were insecticides spread through the air conditioning system. So they believe it was insecticides. Did they drink from the minibar? That's what I'd like to know, because it sounds like there's something going on with that liquor in the minibar. Maybe I'm wrong, though. What's been the impact on tourism? They don't know yet, but it's going to be big because, as I mentioned before, a third of their tourists, out of 2.2 million out of 6.5 million, come from the United States. The U.S., we make it rain. We got big money over here. So everybody wants Americans as tourists. There's going to be a huge financial impact. They don't need to give me data to tell me whether this is impacting them financially. I know people. Tell me in the comments if you know somebody who has canceled a trip to the DR because of this. I know for a fact that people are canceling their trips. Nobody's signing up for a new trip. I already booked a trip there. Should I go? The State Department has not issued a travel warning about trips to the DR. I think that's a mistake. I think that there's something going on there. I think that there's an underlying reason why they're not doing this that has nothing to do with public safety. Maybe they can't verify things. I don't know. But I personally, I'll issue a travel warning and say, just check your bag, watch your stuff. If you still want to go, just be careful. I wouldn't drink from the minibar if I go. That's for damn sure. And I wouldn't stay at those resorts that were mentioned where the deaths were happening. Those are at least two simple things you could do. So because the DR is a big country, there's lots of people there. Well, not gigantic, but there's lots of resorts there, lots of people there. So maybe other places are safe. Maybe this is isolated. Maybe you've got one or two bad apples that are affecting one or two resorts. But don't you sit here and pretend to me like this is not a serious problem. So anyway, so there are people there who are trying to do damage control. I imagine they are in deep panic mode, as anybody would be. It could be an act of terrorism. There could be somebody trying to undermine the tourism industry, and it's working. So I think that this might speak to the Dominican Republic leadership in terms of the necessity to protect their tourism. And other countries may pay attention as well, because this is not good PR for the DR. Good PR for the DR. That sounded like I intended for that to rhyme, but I didn't. It's not good PR for the Dominican Republic, but I think that it does actually speak to the necessity to protect your tourism industry if you are any of the other Caribbean countries or any country around the world that heavily depends on tourism. So anyway, that's it. That's my analysis. That's my breakdown. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins. Make sure you join us at blagenough.com. Join the conversation there. We'll continue the discussion over there as well. And leave comments and let me know what you think. Also, make sure you hit the like button, share button, and subscribe button. And don't forget, if you guys want to learn about investing and all that stuff, I'll be in Chicago doing an investing seminar on July 28th. You can go to drboycechicago.com. That's drboycechicago.com. I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day. I'll see you soon. Peace.